Matt, you want to be a firefighter?
I can't say that I do. That leaves the door open.
Yeah.
He didn't say
He didn't say no.
There's a chance.
Hey, you had to shave your beard if you're a firefighter.
You do have to shave your beard. And you have to interact with everybody. Hang around.
That
Sleep in the
doesn't
same bedroom.
How about if he's just a cook? He'll just have to interact with people who's a cook.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Oh, that's the worst job to have. Because everybody competes.
yeah, but he don't care. Look, he's got thick skin.
You have to shower.
Yes, there is a deficiency in city, but time will take care of it.
Well, as far as speeding goes.
The more to be done, we got a lot done. So this should flow out. This is my, yeah, well.
Yeah, I mean, it is coming in.
22. Tip speed.
Don't speak.
Very close.
And then the,
Sarah Vaughn hasn't been out there.
eastbound.
I must say,
27 and a half.
22. There it is. Yeah, it's right on target, unfortunately. But I do need speed limit signs.
Not enough speed limit signs. People are confused if there's speed signs. They don't know what the speed
Apparently,
limit
they don't know
is.
they can go 25, so they'll have to speed up.
Yes,
To
because,
get to the next speed limit sign faster.
yeah, and then you figure out how fast you're going.
Never need to do your average.
Oh, they're not
Never
sure.
mind the sign, never mind the fact that all the streets leading to that one street have speed limit signs that say 25.
It still doesn't tell me what that street is.
Because normally streets in the middle of subdivisions just change.
It's 25. It's not posted.
Yes, it's not posted. It's 25.
Oh, no.
Should be able to reconnect now.
Unless you're a fire truck, fire trucks, whatever they can get out of their gears, that's all that's GIS guy says,
GIS guy can go into the computer system and change what the speed limit sign.
right.
NVDA says a fire,
I need that
not
job.
over
So he
70.
can change it to 45.
I need
And a ladder
that
goes
job.
over 60.
Yeah, you can say that if you want to.
So you get past on 65 when you're going to
Don't know
30.
I couldn't say
Huh?
It's about to go 70.
He wanted Chief Rowe, man.
No, he's blocking Mark from the boat.
Oh, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I want the chair.
Then you touch your laptop, man. I don't even know what it's on now.
This is gonna be like an episode of Spring. There'll be chairs on.
Somebody's
And somebody's gonna be pregnant.
Yes.
We get done, there'll be
Somebody's baby's mama's gonna be.
a Jerry Springer. Yeah.
Oh, they bring her, they come on.
Like the.
So are they actors?
No,
I think I.
90% of the tech. I mean, it's the,
It's reality TV.
it's the,
No.
here's my mama's boyfriend that I'm secretly sleeping with. And they all,
Who's the baby?
Yeah,
They do
yeah, no.
DNA tests, and I was gonna fight.
And so they've got like these 8 big old beefed up security guards. And so there's always somebody in the audience that got to make fun of them. And they got to act all tough and stand up. It's good TV.
Do you know why reality TV came about?
She's so great.
Probably young TV.
No, it's considered a documentary and they don't have to pay anyway.
Oh, really?
That's why it's such a huge money saver.
They don't have to pay the actors
Yeah.
the union fees.
It's a big
That's
state.
good information.
And when the writers go on strike, even if it's scripted, they can still
They can
write
still
for that.
do, yeah, they can still do rally.
Yep.
Reality.
They are late.
4 to 3 years.
Matt doesn't want to be so much. He basically is saying I wish I could get like
Around faster and faster.
Max got his 39 there. Max has to be there. Like you said.
Hey, Michael,
That clock's a little bit. slow, I say.
Because you're gonna need some adverts.
I look forward to it.
Your back's gonna hurt when it comes Saturday morning, your back's gonna hurt. Hey, Michael.
We take charge today. I can do whatever I
No,
want.
that's not me.
I'm a focus on
Right,
leadership.
No, no.
Yeah. We're gonna do whatever Mr. Davis says we're gonna do.
It's a police department.
Confiscation.
Hey,
Hey, you remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
Sitting in the property for about 15 years.
That's okay. That's all right. As long as you make the good bourbon, it doesn't change anything.
Free breathalyzers at the end.
No, there's calling them on the golf course. That's only the carpet starts.
Like it.
Hey, Rick, how are you? Good to see you.
The men are a lot slower than we are. They'll slowly trickle in.
We're older than the ladies.
Absolutely. No
And
doubt about
half as
that.
good looking.
Absolutely. No doubt about that.
Why are you green about that back there?
Here we go. What'd you do with Ryan?
Hey, Tom.
Here.
Thomas heard the vision. Watch it, the lake.
Develop.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, we're a bit late tonight, but welcome to the June 12th work session of the Elizabethtown City Council. Cindy Walker will open with prayer, please.
Okay, shall we pray? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day. We thank you for this wonderful community in which we live. We give thanks and praise to our employees whose hard work and dedication make the city what it is. Dear Lord, we give thanks and praise to the men and women of our armed forces. We pray that you'll watch over them, be with their families. We also give thanks for this council and our mayor, and we ask that you'll continue to guide us and lead us as we make decisions for this great community. We ask for forgiveness of our sins. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
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 Join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First thing on the agenda, the agreement for removal of dirt. Charlie, you want to open this?
I'll do it. Rick Davis is here. It's his project that we're talking about. He has with him Warren Clifford, his engineer. And I have given you some information previously in a memo and also a copy of a draft agreement, which would allow Mr. Davis to go onto the city property, clear some trees and remove dirt in order to accommodate his project development. And it's kind of a complicated explanation. I'm going to let Warren Clifford go into that for you so you can hear it from their direct perspective. Warren?
Can I tell him what you said today?
Yeah, he'll laugh at it.
He said it's the first time he ever knew you to ask permission to remove trees.
I thought it was a joke, Rick, when they put that in the email. I was like, dang, Rick, good job.
I believe y'all have a aerial photo in front of you that shows what would is marked as a hotel site, and the other one is marked, I think, as a borrow site or a field site, a site to be obtained. But just to let you know where this property is, it's at the end of Executive Drive, just past the old Ryan Steakhouse. We have the bridge across the Buffalo Creek, and it's the property just across the bridge. The property in that area, there's an elevation that forms a a water detention easement, and it's controlled by the emergency spillway on Buffalo Creek. But that under that elevation, there's a certain volume, and over the years, since Buffalo Creek was constructed, the city's been diligent in keeping that volume below that stormwater detention elevation, at least not letting the developers do anything below that elevation that would take volume away from that detention easement. In 2006, Rick Davis and myself worked on a project that we obtained permission from the city to do some filling below that detention elevation on lot 19 of Commerce Park. But because lot 19 on Commerce Park lays along Buffalo Creek, it's low-lying area, we didn't have a good area to go in, and we had material to fill below that elevation, but we didn't have a good area to go in and take dirt out and get in, compensate for that elevation that we were filling in. And we asked the city if we could go back on their property. They own the property to the south of lot 19. We asked them if we could go back on that property, and they graciously agreed to let us do that. But because in 2006 there wasn't a project that was really happening for that lot, the fill was done, and the compensation part of it wasn't actually taken care of. One reason was because, like I said, we just didn't really have a use for the lot at that time. Also, that area in there is heavily forested, and you know, we didn't want to take out a lot of trees if it wasn't really necessary at that time. Now we have a project, a hotel project that we're going to locate on lot 19. We need some dirt on that lot to actually build a building pad and do some other work with the parking lot. And we're now back asking for permission once again to go onto the city property and get some dirt below that floodwater detention easement and take it above the detention elevation and get the volume of that detention easement back to where it was before we filled the dirt in back in 2006. The location that we chose was it's kind of a knoll area. It's a raised area that protrudes out off of the railroad tracks. We need 2.1 acres to actually get the fill dirt that we need to compensate for the dirt that we put below the flood elevation. The reason we chose that is, one, we didn't want to take out any more trees than we had to, and of course we get more bang for our buck if we have a hillside and we're cutting dirt out of it. A whole lot more dirt per area than it would be if we were trying to get it off of a lowland. So that's the reason we chose that area, and we're here to ask permission. Charlie has worked up agreement, which Mr. Davis is in agreement with, and we're asking permission to take that dirt off the city and get the volumes correct. That the volume below the flood detention line that was there prior to the 2006 filling of the lot.
So by the removal of the dirt and the trees, it won't create a water problem at a later date. It's just lowering that level so the water collects lower. I mean, we've had so many issues with basins and flooding and stuff like that. I just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah.
We're not going to do anything that's going to create.
Right. And that's one of the reasons for going to the location that we're going to, is so we can actually cut that dirt out and maintain a drainable slope on that property. And you know, it's just going in and clearing out an area, and when we regrade it, we'll grade it to drain to Buffalo Creek. There's a certain amount of topsoil on that ground right now. We're going to push the topsoil to the side recover the good dirt that we can use to make a compactable building foundation. And then we're going to put the topsoil back on and seed it and straw it.
More than the gradual slope you're talking about, is that on the motel site or on?
That would be on the borrow site.
Okay.
Yeah, the motel site, of course, will be, it'll be whatever it needs to be to get the parking lot to drain and to meet city requirements as far as stormwater drainage and stormwater detention and water quality. We still, we still have to meet all those regulations. This is just really asking permission to go on the city property and get some dirt to build, one, to build the site, and another to correct the ill of 2006 when we didn't compensate for dirt we put below the flood elevation.
We do have a place, Robert, in place that you're going to inspect. I mean, make sure that the contractors are following this, right?
Sure.
Okay.
They'll develop a formal, complete plan, and for his co-inspection with us, will confirm that that's built in accordance with this plan.
And we as a city will inspect that, right?
Right.
And Robert, you don't have any problem with the lot where they'll be taking the dirt? You're in favor of that, correct?
Yeah, I think technically, there's a balance there, and it works out fine. Yeah, I don't think that it's on, to your point, I don't think there's going to be residual drainage issue at that location.
Ed, does, we have no idea if we'll end up with a trail back there, but would this affect any of the potential trail designs going down the road?
It should, the ones that we looked at, the various alternatives, it should.
Do you know about how many trees you're gonna destroy?
All of them.
Well, it'll be two
That's what I mean.
2.1 acres worth. So, I really haven't counted them. It's very dense back there. It's a wilderness.
But Warren, it would be all of the trees in it.
It'd be all the trees, but, when we put that's such a remote area, when we put that thing back in grass, we get to make sure we don't have erosion problems and get good drainage problems. Mother Nature's pretty good about recovering itself. Within 5 years, you probably never know we were there.
So what's your timeline? How long a process?
We're going to be done by 30 September, but that's in the agreement, but we're really hopeful to be done sooner than that. We would like to start construction on the hotel site 15 July.
Really thinning out some of those trees will probably help with the dryness or brush fire type thing, so it should.
Okay, is that it? Yep. Thank you, Warren. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Charlie, want to talk about the Kentucky High School Basketball Hall of Fame storage building agreement?
Yeah, we're talking about another agreement.
Thank you.
We've been discussing the potential for the city to be able to share in the storage building. The original understanding between the Hall of Fame and the city was that the city would remove that building. Then as we got further into the development, we decided to take a closer look at it to see how much value the building would be, both for them as storage and for the city. And we're always looking for storage, especially that where you have it convenient to some of the downtown activities here. So they made a proposal to the city as far as things that they would like to see done to the building. We accepted some of those as far as discussion, and actually I've mentioned some of those things to you previously, but now have tried to put it into an agreement so that it can actually be approved by their board or boards and by you all, of course. The work, and we've actually already been doing some of it, the work that's been going on really is to clean up the inside, but to dress up the outside and repair some of the fascia boards and do painting and cover, put some new vinyl siding on some of the areas. And so we're actually doing that with city the big item being they trying to put some garage doors on those, on that garage area. They still have some ideas of maybe being able to use that for something that's actually a part of the Hall of Fame displays or experience. So in this agreement, it says that the city will put some doors on there. I think that it's a good idea from the standpoint it's better security to have the doors rather than the other way now. And we have had people that have broken into it in the past. You can actually go inside that garage area and break the locks off and go on in to the storage area. So I do think it's a good idea. Obviously, it's the most expensive thing that we're talking about. It's probably, I mean, Scott Reynolds has developed some estimates on it, and we think that it's no more than $5,000 to do that. So that's where we are with our agreement with the Hall of Fame people, and this is the draft of an agreement.
Charlie, I know at one time we talked about tearing that building down. I mean, that was the original thing. Would we anticipate now that the building structure would stay there? I mean, if we.
Yes, this would be in lieu of tearing the building down, which we had estimated might cost the city $15,000.
Right.
Which the city originally agreed, and understanding with them that it would tear the building down as part of their development. So now we would spend less money than that, and we would still have the building for storage, or at least would share the storage, basically 50-50.
And would the entire front of the facade have garage doors? How many doors are we talking
Just
about?
2 doors.
2 doors.
There's a garage area on the far end. There's 2 doors.
Okay.
Makes it look better too.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I would agree.
I'm fine with it.
Everybody's fine?
Good job, Charlie.
In lieu of what we pay for that building
Yeah.
that's take care, it seemed crazy to tear that
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Good, 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 good. Ed, you have a request for a downtown grant.
Under the city's incentive program for renovation downtown, we've received a request from Kevin Addington for reimbursement for some of the expenses down at 30 Public Square. Some people may know that more as the former Monty Hall building, where his law office was. Kevin actually went before the Historic Preservation Commission and got approval to make some facade improvements on the front of the building because it's part of the public square and the integrity of the square and the downtown buildings. And then had to get a certificate of appropriateness from them to actually do the demolition on the rear, and that's where he did all new construction. We've reviewed his request. Our recommendation to the council is that he be reimbursed for money that he spent on 30 Public Square, on the actual portion of the building that is all new construction in the rear. Not recommending reimbursement for those expenses. It's not that it wasn't done appropriately, it wasn't done in conformance with plans, that we don't think it's not attractive or anything, doesn't have to do with that. The program was set up, we feel administratively, to offer incentives for renovation and restoration. So we think it's appropriate to reimburse him for the renovation work that was done on the front facade on the public square, but since the rest of it is all new construction, we don't think that's in the guidelines or the general program that you all directed us to administer.
Yeah, I guess to that point, then, the Newberry building, if that group decides to tear that down, then there's no money
That's correct.
for reimbursement. Even though it does go wrong, and I understand the intent of that, but I think at that time when we were looking at it, as much as you can save, we want to save.
Right.
But at the same time, the work to enhance the overall downtown.
Like I said,
My suggestion is maybe we go back and revisit that.
that's why I wanted you all to understand. I mean, Kevin did a great job. It's an attractive looking building, but it's that philosophy. I mean, the philosophy is we want to reimburse people who restore the buildings downtown. And because when you tear something down and rebuild it, that I don't think that's, that we're not appreciative of that. And like you said, Marty, that it's not an important part of the fabric that becomes the downtown, but the program was set up to reimburse people for restoration and renovation, not for new construction.
But it's still part of the original building, part of the Plum Alley. Isn't that the back entrance to Money Hall's building? I mean, it just was structurally not feasible.
That was a decision that he made. It was not, the building was not in a condition that the city said it's condemned and you have to remove this. I mean, we've done that in other cases. As you all know, on a portion of the Newberry building, it was structurally unsound, and we said this needs to come down for safety reasons. That building did not have to come down for safety reasons. I mean, it was a choice. It may not have been the best building, but that was a choice. And like I said, I'm not arguing with what he did or how he did it. I mean, he did a great job, but it's.
But the program was to give a developer incentive to please don't tear down.
Tear down.
Please remodel and restore.
Right.
Well,
It's
and
to
I'm like,
give them incentive to do that.
Correct.
I agree with Marty. I think maybe that it would be worth our while to revisit possibly, because when we set up those original guidelines, I don't think we envisioned anything like Kevin did down there.
I don't think you can do that for a new construction though.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion. I mean, if you've got a vacant lot and you're gonna help somebody construct a new building, I mean, I just don't think that we can do that for new construction.
Well, I think the question would be then, and I understand what you're saying. I think that it maybe is not on the same basis as we do the restoration. Whatever those percents are, maybe it's
Right.
less. But at the same time, what was the goal of that?
And he-
The whole
Yeah.
intent of that was to improve
Improve that.
downtown.
Right.
And he didn't tear the entire building down, right? He just tore
Oh,
the back of
Part
it.
of the back.
It still had an attachment to the front of the
No.
building.
He tore it all down, Cindy.
It was all gone,
Yeah, it was all
the
gone.
whole building.
Yeah, we started brand new. Brand new.
But it's still, to me, I feel like since he made it look as authentic as he could to create still the look.
Like I
that
said,
we
no,
want for the
no
downtown.
arguments with the quality of the work and the appearance and I mean, no, administratively, we don't have any arguments with that. It's that the program was
You
restoration.
gotta be awful careful that you're not giving somebody incentive to tear down no building.
Right.
So I think, yeah, we gotta be,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because that's basically what we're saying. We're gonna pay you either way. You either tear it down and then build a new one and we'll give you some help, or you restore the old one and we'll give you some help. The purpose of the program was, please don't tear it down.
Right.
right.
Please restore.
Right.
But I think in Kevin's, the way his thought process, he made it much better. If he didn't have to tear that down, he wouldn't have, because I know how much trouble he's been having over there at the the Heritage,
There.
and shoring up those
Sure.
ceilings upstairs so that they don't collapse.
Sure.
He didn't find out about it until he got into the renovation. That's all I'm thinking, is maybe he saw something there that didn't make it feasible.
And I
do
think
all
that,
that.
I think that's why this program was started a couple years ago by the city, for that very reason, Cindy, because when you get into the old buildings to save them and to keep them, you're right, you get into expenses. And so the city said, because we want you to restore and save those old buildings, when you get into those expenses, we're willing to participate with you. I mean, to your very
I
point.
wouldn't think that the facade would be where all their expense comes from.
You know,
Really?
the other part,
And that's a good, I agree with you.
the other part of the discussion that you all have had when we set this program up, though, was where do you get the impact? You get the impact when the front, that facade, changes and looks better. I mean, no offense. I mean, these people have spent, I mean, the Claggets, Mike Childers, Kevin on some other buildings have spent a lot of money doing electrical work and redoing heating and air conditioning systems. But the city has said, that's not something people running up and down or driving up and down the street notice. We want it to be noticeable. So we're going to give you money for new windows and new doors and trim. And if you put guttering on it or a new roof to help with drainage issues and those kind of things to preserve the integrity of the building, that's where we're willing to give you money. We're appreciative that you're redoing the wiring on the inside, but we haven't given anybody any money to redo the wiring in the building or fix up a floor. And there have been, I mean, some of the work that's been done downtown in restoring some of the tin ceilings, repurposing some of the wood floors and things. I mean, you're right. We're very fortunate. There have been some very, very nice jobs done, but the city's position has been outside of the building and restore it. Now, like I said, if you all want to revisit and talk about that, that's something different. But the way the program has been presented to property owners to this point, it's exterior and it's restoration. So we're trying to hold true to the direction that we've had and be consistent with the grants that we've given in the past to the other property
Do you
owners.
think Kevin understood that going in? And
Yes.
If he did,
Yes,
why
sir.
would he submit a request for it?
Because you don't get anything unless you ask.
That's, I think Marty's right. I mean, Kevin has been great to work with, but Marty's right. I mean, unless you ask, I mean, okay, here, I did this and this. Maybe you'll do something.
I don't see
There's
it.
only so much money in our downtown fund, guys.
And I think under the program that we have, clearly it's not for new construction.
Right.
Regardless of the reason, regardless of the reason.
Right.
We're glad that it's all new and shiny, but to tell you the truth, we'd preferred that it was clean and shiny, but it was still the old building and restored. That's why the incentive on that program was there. If we want to have a new program that supplements contractors for new construction, then that would be a different program. And I don't think we want to do that. But I also don't think, how many claims have we, not claims, but how many requests have we already denied because they did not meet the requirements as you just said?
I mean, we've really tried to work with folks and brought proposals to you all that met all those guidelines and did that. And I mean, and we've funded as little as, you know, $400 or $500 to folks up to $40,000. So, I mean, we administratively, we really have tried to bring to you all those specific things that meet and really haven't told somebody, no, you get nothing at all. I mean, we've tried to look at the projects and determine that, are there some things they did that do fit the guidelines that we can reimburse them for too?
Well, and I see, I mean, I agree with what we said. I don't think new construction should be included in there. But I think that what Kevin has done is fantastic down there. We all agree on that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that we shouldn't revisit and look at more specifics that would encourage people maybe where we be a little bit more generous with projects like this, not new construction. But I don't think we envisioned that when we set this thing up. I think that's tremendous what he's done. And I do agree. He probably knew when he went into it that he wasn't going to get anything more than what is recommended.
Well,
But-
tearing a building down is much less expensive.
Oh, sure it
than
is.
remodeling.
Sure it is, yeah.
So that's why I think the incentive
Incentive
is
was there,
there.
right.
We're not giving you incentive to tear it down and rebuild something new.
Well, I don't think we ought to change it for Kevin then. I don't think we ought to change it for Kevin. But I think maybe we need to revisit some portions of it.
And we can do that for you all,
I do.
looking ahead.
But I'm okay with
Okay. Well, we'll have it on for approving an agreement because we've done agreements with everybody and he will then furnish more detailed information before we reimburse.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Okay, Scott Reynolds and Matt Douglas want to talk about GIS.
GIS, thank you all.
GIS,
I'm gonna-
gee.
With just three initials, that means.
Okay.
IRS, GIS.
CIA.
We're letting this thing warm up.
FBI.
DLW is the big one. Matt wanted to come today and present to you all the new mapping systems we have online that are available for the public to view. He's done a really good job of transitioning us from our old GIS system, which was in-house, and to what we're doing publicly now. And most of these are published, and we wanted you all to see them and see the work we're doing and what's available to people. So I'm going to turn it over to Matt.
All right, I'll just kind of briefly go over this. I thank you all for your time. What I've got here up is just the public-facing website. It's gis-etownky.org, and you can get to it a bunch of different ways, searching Google or on the city's website. This is kind of a brief overview of, GIS is available on that. It kind of explains what it is, what we seek to do with our mapping. And also, if you notice in the background that we've got our new 2017 aerial photography. We just got that pretty recently. That flyover was done back in February. So we've just now got the deliverables to us, and we've got that up and online available to the public and also for employees here at the city. So I'm just going to kind of scroll through here. There's some other, places around town. You can actually, on this site, you can just jump right into the map and start exploring. Also have a map gallery here, and this is what Scott was talking about, some of the maps we already make available to the public. You can see the Greenbelt Trail map that I've done in the past. Cruising the Heartland's coming up pretty soon. There's an event map for that. There's some other maps that are available. All this is available to the public. And really what's enabled us to do this is what is it called? The ESRI ELA agreement that we have that allows us to have all the software and servers and all the necessary hardware and everything. So we really appreciate that continuing support with the ELA agreement. You can kind of see some other maps I have here. I also want to kind of talk about web mapping in general. With the city in-house, we have available to us GeoSync, and it's kind of a desktop-based software. And we'd have to install that onto everybody's computer or on the server so people can access it. With this ability now to do some web mapping and things, we can share it publicly. We can also share it internally, all our mapping. So there's no software to install or anything. They can go to a browser. So if you're just in your internet browser, you're just within the city network and type citymap/gallery, you kind of get a nice little jump page showing all of the departments as well as all the maps and tasks and type things associated with each one of those departments. So I just kind of want to make y'all aware of this and show this to you. I sure can. Wanted to talk a little bit more about it. This kind of gets us moving beyond kind of that printed map world of things. Let's see, we'll click on this one here. This right here is kind of a catch-all map. It allows you to do a lot of different things. So I'll click on like administration here, and that would show you all the maps that are available to the administration. See, I can kind of change the layout here so I can scroll through and show you. But kind of gives you an idea of some maps we have available. Okay, sure.
Yes, it is. I use them all the time. I just use Google Maps. I didn't know I could use this one.
Yeah, so this is a map I made available quite a while back. We originally had the kiosk when that got all set up out there, and that was a desktop-based software on that. And now anybody can go to that web address there and be able to access and search.
If you go to that little kiosk there, will that link to this now?
Well, I think right now it is still pointed to the old software.
Will you switch that over?
I intend to, yes. Once the hardware and all that kind of stuff kind of lives out its days, we'll eventually probably will just install this out there for the browser, and makes it a lot easier to maintain and everything like that.
That's on pictures.
So search name, does that find where somebody's buried?
Right. You can start, I can search a last name here and give you kind of a little autocomplete will come up, and you can select which one, which option you're looking for, hit enter, and it'll jump right to it.
So if somebody's searching out of town, yeah. Okay.
Then they can click on that point, they even get a little image of it and some extra information as
Hey,
well.
Shit must have cleaned that money. That looks good. So that's just something we're doing with, Matt created that cemetery map 10 years ago, Matt, now.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. So that gives us the ability to be able to share that, not just at the kiosk site, but anybody in the world can access this.
What's on the finance map? Kind of get to Jeff's office?
Where the money's buried.
Where's it called?
I think it's that agreement. I think it's the downtown agreement.
That may be, I don't know. Let's take a look and see what they've got. And some of these, like I said, this is internal use here at the city. So they may want to look at some different things.
Finance has got that.
They have nothing on it. It's still a secret.
Little secret. Trash cans.
So the whole idea now is that instead of just having one application on a desktop, we have multiple applications available through a browser. Makes it a lot quicker access to us, a lot more responsive. It's where the industry and all that with mapping and GIS is headed. So already we've got it on smartphones and tablets and things like that. It just allows us to kind of expand. And I just want to kind of today make you all aware of some of these things we have. If you're on the city network, on the COE Wi-Fi network, you could pull it up on your phone or a tablet or whatever. So you wanted to look at some of these maps when you come in for the council sessions and things like that. And before I showed you some of the publicly available maps, and that's available at that website. And you can see there's not quite as many as far as what you see over here in the under these different categories here, because we've got some building plan viewer and a couple other maps that I've added that are kind of specific to some tasks that people have here at the city.
We can access all of these maps from the regular city website.
These maps right here.
Those you can.
Yeah.
We're not on that other than they don't allow us on that.
They don't allow you on the COE Wi-Fi. Well, we'll see what we can do about that. I think it's very valuable for you all to have access. I think it'd be very valuable for you all to have access to that.
Mary's on it. So if I want something, I go to Mary's office.
That's where I go to.
Okay. Let's see. So I guess overall, this kind of gives you a little bit of an idea. It also helps kind of focus things. Like I can keep it all in one location now, and employees can click their department. They can even click other departments to see what, if they want to be nosy, they can click on other departments to see what kind of maps they've got going. They may or may not have access to it. It's based on their employee password and things like that for security. And real quickly, I wanted to show you one of the main maps I've done recently. It's called.
Before you, let me ask a dumb question. Is all of this available to the public?
This right now is not.
It's not.
This is only internal in-house.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you notice the web address up here is just citymap/gallery. I don't have a .com or .gov or anything, .org or anything like that. This is just internal. A lot of these maps, like the planning and zoning map, cemetery map, I've made those available within city maps as well, just kind of as a catch-all place to go to find these things. But yeah, what's available to the public is simply this website right here, and then these maps, and we add maps all the time. Like I said, there's the cruising map right there, recently added and updated.
click on the cruising.
Sure. Let's see, hop down. Maybe I got too many tabs open. There we go. So this is a map that several employees will use right before the event or even during the event to kind of keep track of where things are. It'll show you place locations for facilities right there. It shows you where the ATM machine is. If you had an emergency or something, it shows you where you can go. This map is available to the public. Show you the legend here and give you a better idea. So the green is just kind of showing you where the show cars will park during the event. And then you have a couple other little colored areas to kind of designate what's going on in those particular parts of downtown. Close some of these tabs. Let's see. Do y'all have any other questions about the public mapping? I can answer for you. I'll show you. Go back up here. We kind of give the public a little utility map, more or less just kind of showing the utility lines, maybe around their property, things like that. They're still strongly encouraged to definitely call before they dig and all that kind of thing. But this just gives you an idea to let you know where maybe the closest sewer line is to your property. Flood zone map here is pulling directly from FEMA's flood layers. So I'm just overlaying that with a base map and trying to make it a little bit easier for people to be able to find out what flood zone they are, or if they are even indeed in a flood zone. We got the sports park map up there. That's kind of a little base map for them. Kind of show the different fields, and they have different fields numbered out there, and that shows that, as well as locations for restrooms and playgrounds and things like that. The town Greenbelt map was just like a little story map that I did for green space to kind of encourage people to visit their website and go and see the trails and things like that. A lot of people just think of Freeman Lake Trail and not many else. So this kind of breaks down all the trails and gives you a nice little map for each one of those. There's a lot of different maps we have. There's the official zoning map now. We have that available through a web map where it's interactive. They can pan and zoom around and search for their address and things like that. Anybody that wants to use it, that's available on the public side. I think before we had a PDF that somebody'd have to download and kind of work their way around that PDF. And this allows them to kind of search out an address or even a specific zone. Maybe they're looking at to see what kind of zone the property is. So that kind of covers it for, I guess, like the public side of the maps. And definitely want to try to get you all to start being able to access some of the city map stuff, because that's where we've really kind of taken off with this platform. I created a map, I was calling it the My Geospatial map, and that kind of comes from the old desktop software we had was called GeoSync. So we kind of want to try to make this where every employee feels like, and it's their data and it's their time and effort and everything they put into their job, and we make it kind of available through a map. So there's some common task or certain data they may want to access, and they can get to it through a map, and it kind of makes it a lot easier for them to do so. So I was going to kind of give you a quick overview of that. And they have a map they use. They use this for their Wednesday morning meeting as kind of a way to show what areas that they're going to talk about in the discussion for that day. go. I'm able to also have some contact with people a little bit. I can tell them what I've added. You know, there's what's new. I've added some new layers to the map, and also I made mention of the new 2017 imagery to the base map. So I get a little bit more finer control with some of the web mapping, and I feel like the communication between the rest of the employees and everything like that's been very good so far. They really like the maps and how responsive they are and everything like that. So mainly that's what I want to kind of make you all aware of that. And also, if you don't have access, be able to try to get access for you all. I can go up here and click this add data. This is something I've showed several of my coworkers now. And they get a nice view of some layers that they can just drag and pull over into the map right on the fly. So they can look at those, like the flood layers like I was talking about earlier. There's also, you know, some specific things. Maybe they want to look at utility tap information. They can just add that to the map. And then it just makes it all quickly available to them. They get a neat little icon they can look at to kind of tell them what it is, and short little description if they click details there. And also too, I can add some other layers. I can add in the some layer data sources from Kentucky. You see the soils there, and then also their aerial imagery. So we're not just limited to stuff we build in-house. We can pull from other agencies and governments and things like that. Be able to pull it into our map and make this all available to, for right now, and to the city employees. So that's about all I have. Like I said, I want to get you all access to this stuff. I think it's really good stuff, and get shortcuts set up on your devices and things like that, and get you start kind of using this stuff. And then that might give us some better ideas as far as some maps that we can create for the public as well. You know, maybe a map like this would be good for the public. We want to, you know, certainly limit them to certain things they could, you know, pull in and into the map and things like that. But that's kind of, you know, where we're at. We were with the desktop, where we're kind of limited to just whoever had that software installed on their computer, as far as being able to share our GIS mapping with the city. And now with the ability to do web and servers and all these new terms that I'm learning every day about the internet and all that kind of stuff, we're able to do a lot of cool things. And I thank you all for your time, and just wanted to kind of share that with you.
Do I have any questions?
I do. Can you,
Sure.
could you add a layer, for instance, that we wanted to put the detention basins?
Sure.
on there?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do have a layer for that.
We do?
Yeah.
You got it on there now?
It's under storm.
Well, I'm
Stormwater.
not sure if it's in this map here. Let me take a look here. Let's see.
What
I
about
don't have
Ron
it in this
Thomas's
one.
ditch? Does he have his
I
own
figured
layer?
that would come up.
Got a layer for it.
Maybe for that one, we'll set a bookmark here. We just add the bookmark and add that to the map. Okay. Is there any other questions, thoughts, ideas, concerns, anything like that?
That's pretty cool. Appreciate your work on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Very much.
Thank you all.
Very nice.
But I better get it before they get it, okay?
Okay, I'll make sure of that.
Anything else? All right.
We're done?
And he passed them out. I thought, wait.
I know, it doesn't look like a wait for